Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I'm here with Codex Protocol's Mark Lurie, and we'll be right back after this brief disclaimer. Stick around.
You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. You gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins.
Welcome back. We are live. What's up, man? Mr. Mark Lurie. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. We are. So I was actually going through and I asked Heather, I said, what do I have going on today? And she said, you have an interview with Mark Lurie. I'm like, what? I do? I didn't even know what was happening. And so I went to your website for Codex Protocol and I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. I didn't even... This is the first I've heard of it. You guys are hiding out or something? Like, what's up with this ICO? Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, part of why I'm speaking with you today is because we're growing and we're announcing a lot of the things we do, and we're on testnet, and so I'm here today to tell you about it, and we're going to resolve that right now.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure if notifications have gone out yet or not. On YouTube's been a little weird. I'm not sure what's going on lately. Sometimes everybody gets blasted with the notifications, and sometimes it takes a little while. So we'll see. What's up, Prince Sohal? Welcome. So, okay. So tell me. I was watching your videos and stuff. I was kind of getting an idea as to what you guys do, and you. Ultimately, it's basically like what was there are a couple that are kind of coming out, but you're focusing more on art. But basically, you want to be able to track art, unique assets, kind of different stuff, right? And kind of track their ownership over the course of time and kind of help with their authenticity, things like that.
That's right. So why don't I tell you a little bit about Codex on a high level so you're oriented and you understand what we're doing, and then we can dig into questions and the details. Sound good?
Sure.
Great. So if you've never actually purchased unique assets like art or yachts, boats, heavy equipment, or digital assets, you actually might not know how hard it is to work with them. And so we put together an industry consortium to make it easy. So imagine you want to buy a painting. Let's take that as an example. Where do you buy it? How do you know what to pay for it? How do you know if it's authentic? How do you know if the seller actually owns it? And how do you preserve value for the next buyer? It's actually really hard. And I know because I've started and sold a venture-backed online marketplace for fine art and collectibles, which I did after doing my MBA at Harvard. And so I know firsthand just how hard it is. And I'll tell you why, but first let me quickly tell you why it's important. So we're focused initially on art and collectibles. It's a $2 trillion asset class. It includes fine art, fine wine, jewelry, watches, collectible cars, and more. And it's an asset class that sophisticated investors have been using for hundreds of years as an uncorrelated store of value. It's also an obvious choice for the crypto wealthy if it were easier. But the reason it's hard is because there's no easy way to determine ownership and authenticity, which makes it really hard to do all sorts of business, right? Like imagine getting a mortgage on your house if the mortgage lender couldn't know you owned it and didn't know the condition of the house and couldn't put a value on it. Mm-hmm. And art and collectibles is actually the only asset class without a title registry. That's why it's hard. And it's ironic because the whole value of art and collectibles is based on its provenance, which is its history of ownership.
True.
So there's a great example of two Picassos that experts thought were both authentic. One was found at a garage sale and didn't sell. The other sold at Sotheby's for $140 million.
The garage sale was the real one.
Yeah, well, both were real.
Oh.
Both are thought to be real.
Okay.
But one had a documented history of ownership from the artists themselves and from prominent collectors and galleries. The other didn't, and its value was actually less. And so provenance really matters to value.
Well, it's kind of like that with exotic cars as well. You know, it's having that back history. It's the I just daydream and I look at Bentleys all day on eBay, and I just kind of look at their history, and any videos that I see about how to buy exotic cars and things like that. I mean, a lot of people, they buy them, they drive them on weekends, then they appreciate. They don't depreciate, as long as you keep them in good shape and you keep the accurate history. So, that's, I get it. Now, actually, real quick, before we go deeper, I want to go into your background a little bit, because you're not exactly a spring chicken, right? Now, you've got this kind of Ted Kaczynski thing going, and I want everybody to understand, like, that you're a legit dude, right? Like, tell me a little bit about your academic history, kind of where you've been.
Sure. So, professional history is, before this, I started an online marketplace for fine art and collectibles called Lofty.com. Ran that for 4 years in New York and sold it about a year and a half ago. I also spent time as a venture investor at Bessemer Venture Partners, which has invested in some of the top tech companies of the last 20 years and longer. And I also started a company before that, and I also did my MBA and my BA at Harvard, where I studied economics. So I have a background in starting companies, investing in companies, and in economics, and I think it's all really come together in blockchain.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sarah, dude's for real. I just wanted to make sure people kind of understood that you're not just some random guy we picked up off the street talking about some random ICO. Just to help you out. Real deal Holyfield. Yeah, like the guy, he's legit, folks. So it's not, but to be honest, like prior to this morning, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't even aware. Like I hadn't heard about this. And, like you said, I guess that's kind of why we're here, to start spreading that word and getting the word out about this project. Okay, so continue on a little bit about what you're bringing to the table. So I want to buy a Bentley so bad. I want to buy my house first, but then I want to buy a Bentley someday, or I'm going to make somebody buy one for me. Okay, and so. But in searching for this, how could your blockchain, now you guys this is an ERC20 token, right? This isn't your own customized blockchain, right?
That's right.
Okay. So tell me how you will be able to help me find what I'm looking for and make sure that it's, on the up and up, that it's legit, that I can kind of track its ownership history, so forth and so on.
Sure. So in other categories, this problem is solved by a title registry, and that's what you can look at to know it's legit. But the art and collectibles market has never been willing to trust a central authority with the Bentleys it owns, or the jewelry or wine or art they own, right? You don't want to report what watches you own to the government or to anyone. You want that privacy. People are very discreet. And so with blockchain, we can solve that problem. Now we have a decentralized registry where you or the previous owner could, or previous owners, plural, could store information about that Bentley and what happened to it and who sold it that is important for you to know when you buy it, without compromising the privacy of any of those people. And so that's why we're building Codex. It's a decentralized registry for unique assets that preserves privacy. And this is why it's really important to have a record in this Codex registry. You can then connect with third-party apps that unlock value, like insurers, asset-backed lenders, online marketplaces, brokers, galleries, artists, and more. And so once you have the provenance of your item in the registry, you can easily get things that otherwise took weeks of research on behalf of your counterparty to provide. And so we actually already have a partnership with an asset-backed lender. We already have a partnership with an insurer. We have a partnership with someone who will take your asset, let's say it's a Bentley, fractionalize that asset, and then sell shares of it. Mycenas is the company we're working with. We also work with are partners with a company that will provide overnight appraisals for the item you own. So you can get all these apps and services once you have a record in the database, and you preserve privacy while you're doing it.
Real quick, I just see in the comments somebody's like, the market is pumping right now. Might be a bull trap. It's one buyer. I already looked. Look at the 10-minute candle on that buy. So now, how does this work? Users sign up their stuff somehow, or how is it tracked that it's the real item? So, okay. So let's say I have this painting, right? Maybe it's a real one. Maybe it's not. But then I want to go ahead and register it on this blockchain. What's the process for that? Like, how do you authenticate it just to give it entry into this platform?
So anyone can enter things into the platform, but as a buyer or as a lender or as an insurer, you're not necessarily going to trust that item if Bob uploaded it.
Right.
You'll trust it if a well-known auction house uploaded it, or artist, or an appraiser validated it on the chain. And so we have this concept of validators where there's people and entities who are somewhat trusted, and you can decide how much to trust them. And that's especially why it's important that we're backed by a consortium. So we are partnered with software and technology providers to 5,000 auction houses that sell 10 million items a year worth about $6 billion in value. All that stuff can get loaded onto the registry. And so that's how I expect most objects to get onto the registry. Auction houses upload them, and then the buyers receive a record on our registry. And future owners can look at that history and know which auction house it came from. So if it came from Christie's, and by the way, the president of Christie's is an advisor to our project, you're going to trust it. And if it came from Bob, who uploaded it from his garage sale, you might not trust it. That's exactly how it's done today, except the information is, and it's the source of the information is verified and trustworthy, and while preserving privacy of the owners on the blockchain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it. So tell me about the token. I mean, why do I want to own your token? I mean, you can pretty much do all that stuff without any kind of token, right? Like how if I own your protocol token, how does it make me money just holding it?
So I can't comment for regulatory reasons on what might or might not happen with the value of the token, but I can tell you how the token works.
There you go.
And why we have a token. So our token, Codex Coin, is used to access the registry. If you want to transfer a record, or add a lien to a record, or register insurance on a record, or upload more information, you have to pay tokens. And the more tokens you hold, the less you pay. So there's a staking element there. Just like if you go to the RMV or the DMV for your car today, and you want to transfer your car, you have to pay a fee to the government title registry. Similar concept. Now,
I wish the more money I held, the less I had to pay them.
Yeah. Well, you can call your local congressman.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll listen to me.
Take that suggestion. And so those fees are used to reward the validators who ensure that items are accurate and upload information. So those include artists, galleries, appraisers, auction houses. That's what those rewards are used for, and that's what makes the whole system have integrity and work smoothly. And then the last thing is that token enables governance to be decentralized over time, so that decision-making about the protocol and the rules are in the hands of the people who use and support the network. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, so break down some of the token metrics for me. Give me an idea, like what's your token price at ICO? I assume you pegged this to Ethereum, which, I mean, could be going down even more here in the near future. How is this structured? What's your token price? Is it a set price, or is it, is it kind of a rolling thing? Is it a Dutch auction? How do you guys break that down?
So we are announcing the date of our mainnet launch, which will be at the end of July, and we're announcing everything around that over the next few days. It'll be this week. So I encourage you to go to our website and sign up for details about those announcements related to our platform launch, it's codexprotocol.com, codexprotocol.com. I can't answer your specific questions about the nature of the token and a sale for regulatory reasons, but I encourage you to go to the site and sign up for updates.
You can't discuss token metrics at all?
Not at this time.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right, so I'm going to make you a little smaller, and I've got your website up so that people can see the website.
Great.
And I actually thought that video that you guys had was pretty cool, and they were so that you guys are watching. This video is interesting because they're basically at an auction, and it kind of goes over the creator of the, what was it, the Twitter error page, and the whale,
the Twitter fail whale,
Twitter fail whale. I thought that was really cool, and they didn't pay her squat, did they? She's like, I got a lot of love. But she didn't say
karma
this.
Points. She called
karma
it.
Points. There you go. But I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, but yeah, I mean, they're not going to pay for an image. I don't think. I don't know, fair use and all that. But they made her famous, and they're making that picture worth a lot of money, I assume.
They did. So you're referring to our product launch and charity auction we ran at Ethereal in partnership with Consensus, and we worked with a Christie's auctioneer, and we auctioned, I think, 10 pieces to establish a foundation for art and blockchain. One was the Twitter fail whale. Another was an exclusive crypto kitty, which we sold for $140,000 using our software.
That's
and
crazy to me.
It's
That
one of the
crypto
first items
kitties
in our
thing,
registry,
man.
and it's the most expensive crypto kitty of all time.
I really want to meet the person that bought it, because I have a pen that's worth at least $100,000. I'd love to sell him. Never mind the BIC logo. I swear to God, it's worth $100,000.
I hear you, but I would point out that I don't think it's any more strange to pay $140,000 for a unique first edition crypto kitty than it is to pay $140 million for a unique first edition or original Picasso.
Yeah, it is different. Come on now. You're talking about a work of art with a story and a history, and it's a completely different thing than a digital image of a cat that doesn't even exist in a tangible fashion. You're buying something tangible for something that is an idea. I'm sure if Picasso were able to sell his ideas, there would be a lot more of them out all over the place. I mean, if that's the metric you go by, man, I'll create a bunch of fake bullshit Picasso paintings, throw them on the blockchain, and call them Picasso kitties, and we'll see how much money I can make from those.
Look, I think this is like a fun conversation about the nature of art. But I guess I'd just point out that the more you think about art, the more you realize it's kind of similar. I mean, I'm not saying a CryptoKitty is worth a Picasso today, but in another 20 years, we might change our tune. Think about photographs. There are photographs, and those you can 110% duplicate photographs. But the original photographs from this photographer sell for a lot of money. And I think when photographs first came out, people said these are just copies. They're never going to be as valuable as as an original painting, and that's proven. It's turned out that they can be valuable. Anything that's scarce.
Photographs, again, though, are capturing a moment in time, which can be very valuable and very telling, especially historical photographs. I watch a lot of stuff about. I used to call it the Hitler channel, but on History Channel, it used to be World War II all day, every day. And I used to just watch that stuff while I worked because I'm fascinated by the history of all of that. And I just watched a recent documentary where everything was colorized. And I'm like, wow, it's all color now. And, it adds to the kind of the realism. When you're watching stuff in old black and white, you kind of have this thing in the back of your mind that says, I wonder if this is even real. I'm a product of the digital age. Did these people even exist? But yeah, they did. And, capturing a historical moment in time that's, I can see how a photograph could be worth a lot more money. But look, here's the thing, man. I'm kind of being devil's advocate a bit here. I'm an artist. My mom was an artist. My grandmother was an artist. I come from a line of artists. I value art. I appreciate it. CryptoKitties to me is not art. CryptoKitties to me is it's an idea, and it's just an intangible thing that really kind of has no value. But at the same time, people drop thousands of dollars in virtual, items in EverQuest and Warcraft, and the multi-billion-dollar secondary market on things that you use temporary, and they mean nothing other than being able to brag online and show off your glowing fiery sword to other nerds. I was one of those people for years. I gotta ask you, man, is there like a hotness metric that you have to pass to get a job where you at your company? Because I like Jess Hellgrave. Now, I got in trouble for talking about how attractive people were before, but I really don't give a shit. I mean, you surround yourself by some pretty people, man.
I think our team is brillianted and talented and super experienced. Jess is a thought leader on art and blockchain that I think she's probably the leading thought leader on art and blockchain. She used to work in private equity and investment banking. She has a degree from Oxford in economics, so she's brillianted and super talented. And
everybody, all these people on your team are like,
for everyone on our team.
Yeah, as I'm saying, I mean, I'm opening with some jokes, but your team is pretty solid, is my point, man. Yeah, I mean,
that's what we're going for. I think team is, the most important thing,
right?
To executing well and to being successful, and so we've taken a lot of pains to build a great team, and our CTO is actually at a Microsoft's identity division, which is where they worked on blockchain, and he worked on authentication, so Microsoft's login products, and so he's done a great job of building out the registry, the non-fungible tokens that are involved in storing information about assets, and it's on testnet, so you can go and check it out.
Nice. Why does some of these people look familiar to me, but it could just because I don't know. I'm one of those people, I never remember names for anything, but I can remember a face my entire life, and I can meet you once and I'll never forget your face. Let's look at chat real quick. I'm curious what some of these thoughts are. Let's see. Do they have a prototype? Yes. He's talking about their testnet where you can kind of go in and play with the system. The first Playboy is art.
We actually, art and collectibles include art, watches, coins, Beanie Babies, anything that people collect, and I bet the first Playboy is very valuable.
I'm sure it is. That's the one with Marilyn Monroe, right?
Artifact. Yeah.
I think it's actually only worth like $10,000. I thought I had one. The funny thing is, my grandfather, when I was a kid, now this is an unrelated story, but you'll have to suck it up. Now, when I was a kid, I remember going to my grandfather's house, and my uncles and him were looking for the Playboy bunny on the cover of these magazines, and I was too young. They wouldn't even let me look at it. And I remember my grandpa said, "Look, son, someday you're going to have all of them." And sure enough, on my 18th birthday, my grandfather left me boxes and boxes and boxes of Playboy, dating back like way, way, way back. And my mom was mad. She's like, "Why couldn't you just give him a watch?" And my uncle was jealous because he had spent years going through those things with my grandpa. And so, yeah, and I actually, some of those were so old I thought I might have had the first edition or the first one. And so I was looking them all up. I didn't have it. So that was a long story for a little point. But so Prince Sohal, too many issues, potential problems. Other platforms will surpass Ethereum. Okay, I don't know about that. Ethereum's got such Ethereum's use case right now. See, here's the thing. Mark, a lot of people are speculating. Everybody's freaking out because they're watching Bitcoin and Ethereum go down. And people are, you got guys like CoinBase talking about how Ethereum could just disappear. And, to all the Ethereum bag holders that, everybody that holds Ethereum right now are speculators looking to basically They're just holding Ethereum to get into other things. But the thing of it is a lot of people holding Bitcoin are doing the same thing. It's just they're not doing it for ICO. They're making exchange trades. And so some people seem to be freaking out a little bit about anything ERC20 right now because they don't know where Ethereum's going to be in a week or a month. And so that's a struggle that I see. Hopefully Cardano. Cardano. I mean, I'd love to start seeing some ICOs on Cardano. I really would. But anyway, that's the fear that I'm seeing. I'm seeing it in chat, and it's this universal fear. And here's the thing. I've talked in videos for weeks, probably even months now, that when this whole downtrend turns around, it's going to be when the public mass opinion equates to shit. Basically, they look at blockchain and they think, this is a fad, this is done, this is dead, everything's dead, I want out, I'm getting out, I'm dumping everything at a loss and I'm leaving this. And it's going to be at that point where all the money starts rushing back in from everybody that's smart enough to have some foresight. And then everything's going to be better again, and there are going to be beds of roses laid out for everybody that held strong, and and that's just how I see this thing playing out. And you can see the doubt and the fear. It's funny how easily the FOMO can turn into fear. Anyway, back to your project. I'm only kind of getting into that a little bit because I'm seeing some of those comments and concerns about, well, what if I like this project, but it's ERC20 and everything ERC20 is going to go to hell soon? Why can't people own the rights to the CryptoKitty artwork after being purchased?
I think ERC20 is the best standard. I'll take both of those in turn. I think ERC20 and Ethereum is the best standard we have right now. But should that change, then I think projects can change with it. And I think projects should be doing a constant technical evaluation of what's the best option out there and what they should use. And and if there's a platform that works better, then I expect projects will switch. So it's a good question. I think at the moment there's something of a standard, and then we can talk again in a month and see.
Right, I agree.
And the second question, can you remind me what the second question was?
Respects Coins. He said, why can't people own the rights to the CryptoKitty artwork after purchased? Thanks.
I think that's what's amazing about blockchain is that you can prove who owns the rights, and you can transfer that, and the buyer does own the rights to that CryptoKitty going forward. Mm-hmm. That's one of the cool things about blockchain is that you can actually you can prove that you have the first of a digital asset or a digital work, mm-hmm. right? Like a CryptoKitty or like a digital artwork, like a digital sketch. And once you can prove that you own the royalties to it and you own the kind of the rights to the first version, it becomes scarce. And if it becomes scarce, it can become valuable. And that's why I think we'll see an emergence of digital collectibles. It's a whole new medium for art and a lot of other things and other assets that one day I think will meet or surpass physical items, at least in the art world, which I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty excited about that.
What about music?
Music's a great example of something that you can store ownership and provenance around within the blockchain. And so you could certainly do that, within Codex. I think there are music-specific projects, and I don't know too much about them. But really any unique asset is something that you would want in the Codex registry, because once it's there, you can easily access things like loans, shipping, royalties, insurance, all the things that you kind of need to unlock value from your asset, you can access easily from the registry because we're partnered with all those various those various companies. And so that's why you'd want to store your royalty rights in the Codex registry.
Okay. Now I'm going to try and find something from a while back. and I don't know if I'll be able to find this again.
Why don't I, in
Go
the
ahead.
meantime, I'm happy to tell you about the first application we've launched, which I'm particularly excited about.
Absolutely.
So we've built a first application on the registry. It's title escrow for auctions, and it makes it possible to bid and buy in auctions with crypto. And so it's actually already live with some of our auction houses, so you can already buy about 10,000 pieces. Photographs, Rolexes, Warhols with crypto through our auction houses. And that information and transfer is stored on the registry. And we're going to have hundreds of millions more that you can bid and buy with crypto through this first application. So I'm really excited about it. It's called Biddable. It's what we use to sell the CryptoKitty. And you can actually go buy a whole lot of art and collectibles with crypto today through this application.
Okay, so this could be used for a day, a new copyright process. Man, this guy has to think bigger. Okay. Well, you got to start somewhere. I mean, you got a platform, and so obviously, I'm sure as the use case potential grows, this whole thing will grow. BTC just went to 6780. Yeah, I don't see it staying.
I think that we have a really big goal, which is we're going to be the place to store all unique assets, right? That includes music. It includes art and collectibles. It could include used agricultural equipment. It could include boats and yachts and planes. It could include cars. It could include real estate. And I think all of that should be on a blockchain registry, so information about those assets can easily connect to apps and services that unlock value.
Well,
but
here, I'll tell
really
you my
important
perspective.
To focus, and we're focusing first on
Right.
art and collectibles.
And I agree
because that's
you
where
should.
the need is greatest.
I agree you should. And here's the thing, typically when I hear about projects and I'm reading white papers and I'm thinking of use cases, I immediately come up with, multiple other ideas. Like, you guys could be doing this and you guys should add this. And with something like this, I actually feel like you're taking the right approach in the sense that this is going to be kind of, you're building a library is ultimately what you're doing. You're building a library with a very specific, card catalog, if you will. And that card catalog is going to consist of these unique assets. The thing of it is this, as more, let's just call them books, more books are added to your library, the use for your currency, your token, is going to grow potentially exponentially over time. This isn't something that's just going to launch today and be wildly successful tomorrow. This is something that you guys are going to have to build over time. But what's going to happen, I see the tokens purchased today. I'm looking at this strictly from an investment perspective. Your team looks solid. You're a very legit individual. You know what you're working on, I think, is actually very, very good. Is this going to be something that I see people buying in tomorrow and then post ICO it goes 10x on exchanges? I don't believe that. That's my personal opinion. However, give it a year, give it 2 years, a long-term hold. You're basically holding these tokens while you're continuing to develop and build your library, your platform, your use cases, getting more people involved, paying tokens to check validity of this or authenticity of that, and you've got, all of this stuff going on. Ultimately, I feel like you're creating a beehive that's just going to, I think that, I haven't seen anything quite like this. Like, I've seen stuff, obviously, for product authentication or, I did a review for a company where they want to make sure they have a little thing they stick in a Gucci bag and that you can scan it with your phone and tell that it's if it's fake or not, that sort of stuff. But this is different in the sense that this could be an old antique from 1920 that was a one-of-a-kind asset that, ends up on this blockchain to be basically verified and studied for, forever. One question that I have, okay?
Sorry, can I?
Go ahead.
I'm not sure I agree.
Okay, sure.
So I can't comment on may or may not happen with the token value. Mm-hmm. What I can say about the speed of adoption and usage is that we're backed by a consortium of auction houses, 5,000 auction houses that sell 10 million items a year worth $6 billion, are are going to make all of their inventory available for purchase with crypto. That's most of the fine wine that sells in the country.
Are they all going to be
rare
put on the Codex platform?
They are. We have long-term exclusive contractual agreements for them to incorporate this into their software, accept crypto, and register in the Codex. And so this is going to be massive adoption very quickly. We will almost instantly become the industry standard.
Okay,
And
I stand corrected.
Because we've locked up all the auction houses, and that was the first thing we did when we started this business. I went to all the strategic partners that I knew from when I was running my last company, and I knew them, and I know them. And we decided to all do this together because this is such a need for the art and collectibles market, because it's the only asset class without a title registry, that we agreed to do this, establish an industry standard, and roll it out so there's massive adoption almost right away. So I actually think it will be incredibly rapid that we drive usage. In fact, in the next few months, we'll create the largest pool of purchasable merchandise with crypto in the world. And I think that's actually pretty remarkable.
So you're saying that not only are you going to be, you're saying that you're not only going to be registering these tokens or these items on your blockchain for verification, authentication, and all that fun stuff, but you're actually going to be able to purchase them using your token?
You'll be able to purchase them using our token. We're also letting you purchase them using ETH and Bitcoin.
So you'll be able to buy a Picasso with Bitcoin?
That's correct.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
See, man? Sounds like I'm being an asshole, but the way I probe for new info, it tends to work out. Just challenge you a little bit.
Glad you did.
This is more interesting now than it was 5 minutes ago. Okay, so not that it's not interesting at all, but when I think about things, I here's the thing. I have to think, how much could I make if I got involved a year from now? And that's the time frame that I look at, a year. I look at a year for everything. When I say crow your coins, that whole crow your coin slogan is basically buy and hold for a year to lower your capital gains tax. But I want to make sure that I'm getting the most growth potential out of that year against something else I'm potentially investing in, right? And so when I look at a project, I'm thinking, if I buy today and I hold it for a year, how much more will I make over this other project doing something different? What's the mass adoption going to be like? Is the growth exponential? Is there going to be a steady stream over time? What can I expect in the use case for the product? If if they're starting here, are they going to branch out and add additional services to increase the usage of the token associated with the platform? All these things kind of run through my mind as I'm reading a white paper or I'm looking through a website, and I get this kind of gut instinct as to whether or not something is going to be solid. And I mix that against the token metrics and other details associated with the white paper and everything else, and then I make a final decision as to what I think the outcome could be if I were an investor. And, the two key things that you just stated, we started almost 40 minutes ago. Those two things should be the very front of your webpage. Like that, I'm just being honest. Because I've looked through a lot of your website, but I never, nowhere did I see, some of this stuff, which is huge. And the thing of it is you can see partnerships and things like that, right? But you have to spell it out for us because we're not in your market. So you can say, well, we partnered with, we've got people who worked at Christie's and all these places, and but what do those partnerships mean? And you just said it. We're basically adopting all of the inventory for the most part. We have contracts, long-term contracts with all these companies that we're ultimately going to be bringing onto our platform, our protocol. And that is huge, especially if you can make purchases. Now, one question while I'm kind of rambling a little bit. Am I able to search for items on your website? Let's say you have all these different auction houses, all these different people involved, and they're all adding their products to your protocol. Are you going to have like a searchable database on your website that will allow me to, maybe I'm looking to buy something. Maybe I'm looking to buy, maybe I've got a whole bunch of Codex tokens and I'm like, you know what? The value's gone up. I paid X. Now I have this, and I want to invest in something more tangible. I'd rather buy a crypto kitty. Can I go do that through your website someday?
you can do that in a lot of places, and we don't try to be the broker ourselves. We are working with and enabling all the people who do trade and transact these items. And so you can go through our partners to buy. You can go through our auction houses to buy. There's other marketplaces that we're integrated with, and you can know what you're buying is what it's claiming to be, and you can purchase using crypto, including Codex Coin, through the partners that actually buy and sell these things. And so if you go to our site and you scroll down to Biddable, you can go treasure hunting with cryptocurrency today and find a lot of cool items to purchase, all with crypto.
Oh,
so
interesting.
I think the answer to your question is, the short answer is yes.
Oh, dude, I love maps. I don't know why, but I love old maps, especially old treasure maps. So I'm on your Biddable and I'm looking at these maps. 1820 rare and important map of the United States. That's interesting. It's not a treasure map though. I want a treasure map. So if let's say I decide I have something and it's registered on the Codex, and I decide I want to sell it on eBay. Am I able to provide a link on my eBay profile to my registration of that item on your site and its verification information?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So so people looking up information on this aren't going to have to pay tokens to see it. It's the people that are altering the information on the blockchain.
That's right, for the most part.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's see here. What else we got?
I just want to convey how important this information actually is, right? Because
it's important.
If you want to sell something on eBay or through an auction house, today you might have to pay 40% commission to an auction house because the auction house has to have in-house appraisers that they have on staff who have to go research the whole background of a piece. Now, if we can make it easier to verify information, then commission rates are going to come down. You might not have to pay 40%.
Oh, sure you will. They're experts in their field, and they know they didn't spend their entire college careers just to make 10%. That's my opinion. I don't know. You know a lot more about that than I do. I'm just being funny.
I guess what I'd say is they don't make 40% in their pocket.
Right, I get that.
They probably make 5 or 10% in their pocket, but they have costs.
Sure.
If we reduce their costs, they can reduce their commission and still walk away with the same at the end of the day. So everyone wins.
Gotcha.
And it's that kind of thing that this really helps with. Same with a lender. You want to get a loan against a watch you own. Today they might have to do a couple weeks of research, but now they can give you a quote overnight. Those are big differences that mean you can unlock a lot more value from your pieces than you could before.
You guys, 4704 people in the Telegram channel. You guys, if you guys are interested in this, I would suggest joining the Telegram group.
That's where you'll get upcoming announcements first. So I recommend you go there right now and join @Codex Protocol.
Yeah, I do the same thing, man. I'm known to hang out in my Telegram channel, and if I've got a wild thought or I'm working on something, I go to my Telegram first. It's just easier. I click, I pop it up, and I just start talking to everybody, and I bounce in and out pretty much all the time. The joke is I'm always there and never there at the same time, which is very, very true. Okay, look, man, I think this is actually kind of looks cool, and yeah.
Why do you think so?
No, yeah, I do actually, and I'm gonna, I might actually go into, I might actually crack that white paper, man. Let's hold on. I want to look at your one pager real quick. Jeez. Okay, so there's no token info there yet. All right. So you're gonna make me go through this white paper to find your token metrics, aren't you? You son of a gun.
You'll get updates on everything related to that by signing up on our site and our Telegram channel, and then we'll give you all updates. And that's where you have to go to get the information.
Okay.
So I encourage you to sign up, and and you'll learn more from there.
All right. Well, at least
I encourage you to do it quickly because we're making some major announcements this week.
You're making. Well, why can't you just make them now? What the hell are we doing here? Gosh, you give me nothing, man. I'm trying to help you here. What's one of your announcements? Give me an idea.
We're going to answer a lot of the questions you just asked.
You're a trip. All right.
I would love to tell you everything I can, but there's regulatory constraints that I have to work around.
Gotta love those. Can you get into this?
Important to respect them.
Yeah, well, trust me, man. I know. I've spent a lot of money to respect the damn regulations because lawyers aren't cheap, and I have a group. I do stuff that you don't even know about that I can't really talk about on my channel, and I'm very fully aware of regulation and all that. So, can you? I assume you can invest from within the United States, right? Or did you guys go through? SEC saying, look, if you want to offer to the U.S., all you got to do is follow our rules. That's basically what they're saying. I'm curious to find out how true that is with ICOs that are wanting U.S. money. Like, how difficult is it really?
We're not permitted to promote within the U.S. Were there or were there not something that could be regarded as a security, and that's part of why I'm not doing so right now.
Everything is a security at ICO. There was a time when that was kind of a question, right? It was like, well, what's a security, what's not? And, nobody invests in an ICO because of the tech. They all invest because of the speculative value. So in the SEC's eyes, everything, CryptoKitties, everything is a security until after the sale. After the sale, once it hits regular market and you can pick it up on exchanges, I don't know. Their whole way of looking at things, I agree with some of it, but I think a lot of it is just, let's just throw a blanket over everything, put it under our control, and we'll figure out the rest later. And it's really kind of it's such a huge pain in the ass, and it's a problem. But they're saying that they'll walk people through, making sure that, what did they say? I saw a report recently. They said out of 100 ICOs, only like less than 10 of them were actually in compliance.
Well, we're batting above 90 or 900. So.
Oh, I'm not saying you specifically.
I'm excited you're learning about us.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to figure out when it's going to be that some of these cooler projects are going to be able to start opening up to. Okay, so tell me when does your ICO actually begin, and then when does it end?
You have to go to our webpage to sign up for announcements, but I can tell you from a product perspective that that we're going to have our product launched within the next several weeks.
So you're launching the protocol, you're launching the whole thing before an ICO? Are you even having an ICO?
We have done a token sale, and we continue to do one, and we don't believe that the token should be distributed until after they're usable in a real product. And that's why our product launch is the key thing you should watch out for, and that's coming very soon.
Gotcha. All right, you guys are trying to beat the Howey test. I'm kidding. I think
this is a long conversation that we could certainly have offline.
Okay, fair enough. All right, look, I kind of dig this, guys. I anticipate learning quite a bit more about this project because, man, yeah. All right, you just keep putting more work on me, man. Now I got to dive into this and I got to read. At least your white paper is only 34 pages. Although I looked just skimming through it, I didn't see everything that I wanted to see. Readily available in a white paper, and now I got to go to your Telegram to go stalk your admins to find out what I need to know. But that's all right. All right, Mark. Look, man, it's been real. This is cool. I'm gonna look more into it. for those of you out there that you're interested, I suggest you guys take a deeper look into this as well. Check out their white paper. It's only 34 pages long. There's, not everything is readily available within it, but like you said, join the Telegram group. You'll see me in there soon asking some questions of my own. And yeah, thanks for joining me, Mark. Is there any final points you want to make before we sign off and enjoy the rest of our day?
I'm really happy to have been here, and it was great talking with you, and thanks for everyone who asked questions. I'm really excited. We have a project that is built. It's going to be live and usable, and we're going to have massive adoption really early on, and I'm particularly excited that just as collectibles powered eBay and PayPal's rise in the early internet, so too do I think collectibles are going to be a big way that people start getting involved with blockchain. So I'm glad you're learning about it now, and join our Telegram and you'll get some big announcements very soon.
Sounds good, man. I will be in there probably as soon as I get back upstairs. So on that note, thanks for joining us, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you all, even some of the trolls. And until next time, crow your coins, and I'll see you guys real soon. Actually, I think I've got, if I'm not mistaken, I think Charles Hopkinson is going to be joining us for a live interview soon. And I know that I'm going to be scheduling something with Superman here as soon as he gets back from wherever the hell he was. So stick around for updates. You'll find those updates on my Telegram channel. So until next time, crow your coins, folks. I'll see you soon.